Hey guys, welcome to sunny California. I'm Kelly. This is Bruce Wayne. Missy's over there. We're chilling today, just relaxing. So I have good news to share, guys. I finally am at 185 for my weight. So if you haven't checked out my page or on Facebook or haven't talked to me, or maybe you haven't seen me in a while. So back in March, I was like 203 pounds. Like I was getting real big, and I was having some health problems, and I went to a doctor, and she was like, I think that you should cut your carbs and don't eat any more soy, and let's also try cutting gluten out of your diet too, see how that helps you. And so I've been on this diet now for a few months of as low soy as possible. I try to keep my carbs within like, ideally I'm trying to do 15%, but in reality I'm closer to 20% in my macros for carbs. And then the only dairy I'm allowed to have is European dairy, although sometimes every now and again I sneak a little bit. No soy. So no soy, although that was a pain. Like that was really hard to stop doing soy. I had no idea how much they like snuck soy into like everything. And then let's see, I can only have European dairy. People are always like, why European dairy? Well, for one, we feed our cows here in America like a bunch of soy, and it messes with your hormones if you're a girl. So like soy is not a good look for me. Gluten-free has been easier than I thought it would be. Thank God for Aldi and their Live G Free line. That's not even me. I'm not even endorsing. Well, I guess technically I'm endorsing them, but I didn't get paid to do it. But hey, if you guys want to pay me, that'd be real dope. But yeah, so I'm down to 185 from 203, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm really proud of myself because I've struggled with my weight pretty much my whole life. And anyone who's known me my entire life has seen me fluctuate like Kirstie Alley, like, you know, where I've gotten like real fat, and then there were moments where like I was getting to, I've never been skinny, and I probably will never be skinny, but like there have definitely been times where I was much thinner, and there are times where I was definitely fat as fuck. I mean, yeah, let's not even lie. But that's not what today's video is about. I just wanted to brag that I've lost like a bunch of weight because I'm really excited about it, and I'm really proud of it because it takes a lot of work to lose weight, and I've been making sacrifices, and I've been doing yoga, and I'm proud of myself, and I wanted to share that with you and share my excitement with you. But actually, today's video is about sexual health, and more specifically, STDs. And so this video is a little hard for me to do because it's not exactly the easiest conversation for me to have, although it's getting easier all the time. So basically, my thing today is, as far as STDs and sexual health, make sure that, I'm sorry that I keep looking down, I've got the kitten. Stop biting me though. I lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh. So anyway, the reason why I want to talk about sexual health is because there's not enough knowledge of it. You know, there are, in like school, they take this like scare you approach with everything. You know, don't do drugs, drugs will kill you. if you have sex, you're gonna get a bunch of STDs and your whole life is gonna be ruined. The ironic part is that even though they tried to scare us out of everything, most of my generation is on drugs and, having a lot of sex, which honestly isn't even that bad, except for the fact that they aren't being responsible about it. It feels like getting a guy to use a condom is like pulling teeth sometimes. It's like, dude, are you trying to get me pregnant? Do you want to be a dad? Do you want to get STDs? Like, why do you not want to put a condom on? I mean, I do understand why you don't want to put a condom on, but like, come on, dude. But yeah, so one thing that the reason why it's so important to wear condoms is because STDs, like pregnancy, while not exactly ideal for those of us that aren't trying to get pregnant, STDs are a major thing, and they're like a real thing. Well, I guess I shouldn't say major, but they're a real thing, and they're not exactly ideal. So I'm actually gonna out myself today, and it's kind of hard to do because I'm doing this like very publicly. But a couple years ago, actually, story time. Okay. So a couple years ago was the absolute worst day of my life. Okay. So I had this itch, and I thought maybe like I had a yeast infection, because chicks, we get yeast infections all the time, whatever. So I was looking down there and I noticed this little sore, and I was like, no, right? No. Because, I mean, how many things cause sores down there, right? So I set up an appointment with Planned Parenthood. And I go, and the doctor takes one look at me, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, that's herpes." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Are you sure? It can't be anything else. She's like, "I mean, I'm going to swab it, but that's what it is." And I was like, oh, shit. And she's like, she was not nice. She was not nice about it. I walked out of there thinking that I was a leper, and that I wasn't going to be able to touch anybody, kiss anybody. I was going to be alone forever. Like, I was diseased, And so I call my friends, right? And I'm like, dude, I just got diagnosed with herpes. Like, I'm bugging out. Like, this is the worst day of my life. What am I going to do? And they were like, dude, come over. Let's drink. Like, we'll talk about it. It's fine. It's like, all right, cool. Because I definitely need support right now. And shout out to my friends Brody and Gabe for being there for me during that, man. Like, I don't know if you guys watch these videos, but like, I was so grateful that I had you guys in that moment, even though that night took a shitty turn. And that night did take a shitty turn. So I brought my dog over to their house, and my dog Thumper was such a good dog, just such a good dog, dude. He listened very well, and he was so smart, like so smart. And so I had him off leash. Well, their house was like near a busy road, and Thumper wandered into said busy road, and then Thumper was hit by a car, and then Thumper was no more. Okay. That's that still hurts, and I didn't think that it was gonna come out like that. So I what happened, I'm telling you, this is the worst day of my life. So I look around, I'm like, where's my dog? And I start calling him, and he doesn't come, and he always comes when he's called, right? And he doesn't. And I look out in the road, and I see this little white lump. And even though I'm like 50 feet, 100 feet, I don't know how far I am, he's just a little tiny lump in the street. I know it's him, and I know he's dead. Okay? And so we go, and we pick him up off the road, and this car drives by, and they're like, hey, is that your dog? And I'm like, it was. And we ended up taking care of it, whatever. But suddenly the herpes didn't seem like such a big deal anymore, because I just lost my best friend. And I was depressed for a really long time. And as you can see by the fact that I'm crying, that I haven't completely gotten over it. But yeah, so I'm going through this, right? Like, I'm like, fuck, I got herpes, I'm a fucking leper, my dog's dead, like, fuck my life, right? Like, why? I'm like asking the universe, asking God. I don't even know if I believe in God, but I still ask God sometimes, like, why the fuck do you do this shit to me? But that's the thing, man, is that, like, it just happens, Like, Thumper was my fault, but the herpes wasn't. And I know some people, like, the first thing that people think is, oh, if you have herpes, you're dirty, you're a slut, you slept around. People don't get STDs because they're dirty. People don't get STDs because they're a slut. People get STDs because they had sex. Yes, there are promiscuous people who get STDs, but there are also people who sleep with one person and end up with an STD that lasts the rest of their lives. Some people get raped and have STDs for the rest of their life. So I went online, because I didn't know anything about herpes, like, at all. And other than, like, cold sores are herpes, and, like, herpes of sores and are sores, and it is contagious. Like, that was the only thing I knew about it. And so I did research, and I joined online. There's actually, like, secret online support groups for it, believe it or not. And I learned a whole bunch about it. And actually, I don't want to say it's not a big deal, because for some people it really is. Some people, especially if you have a compromised immune system, it can be really rough if you have a compromised immune system. And outbreaks aren't fun, man. They're not. I will not lie to you. Since I've been diagnosed, I've been with other people, I've dated people, been in relationships, I've had sex. Some of them didn't have herpes. And I've had to explain to people, like, hey, I always disclose, because that's, I have no idea where I got herpes from, not at all. I contacted my last few partners over the years. Everybody got tested, and they were all like, yeah, I'm negative. I don't know. But the thing about herpes is, there's a couple things about herpes. The one thing is that the tests aren't reliable unless you're having an active outbreak. And I experienced this firsthand because one of the myths about herpes is that HSV1 or herpes 1 is only oral. Those cold sores? Cold sores are herpes. Not everybody realizes that, but cold sores are definitely herpes. But they think that that's only HSV1 because there's actually 2 forms of herpes. There's 1 and there's 2. At least as far as like the sexually transmitted. There's other forms of herpes like herpes zoster, which is better known as chickenpox, and shingles. Herpes zoster is chickenpox and shingles. And there's some other ones that I haven't really looked too much into. I know there's herpes whitlow, which is just on the skin. It's not like on your mouth or on your genitals. There's herpes encephalitis, which has to do with that one's actually pretty serious, but it's super rare. But I'm not going to talk about that and scare everybody today. But yeah, so 1 and 2, those are the big ones, right? Everybody thinks 1 is not a big deal and it's only on your mouth, and you know, if you don't have a cold sore, you're good. That's not really true. So herpes is spread through skin-to-skin contact. So for all of you guys that love to do a little of, you know, that's a good way for you to get HSV1 on your genitals. HSV1 is actually becoming more and more prevalent because people like head. People like head. And they think it's safe, but you can get STDs from head. HSV2 can also be oral because of head. Sorry, I'm being really vulgar in this video. There's a lot of cussing, and I'm sorry for those of you that are sensitive to that. But like, this is just what the video is today. So the other thing is, you know, as you guys are watching this video, you're probably thinking, well, I get tested regularly and my tests always come back negative. Well, guess what? My tests always came back negative too. And I did get tested regularly. And I don't know when I got herpes because it can incubate for a very long time before you have any symptoms. And you might never ever get symptoms. You can still have herpes and never have an outbreak. What I found out was, turns out the CDC decided that herpes would not be included in the standard STD test because it is so prevalent that they figured it was a waste of time. Now, I think that's pretty messed up because, like, it'd be nice to know beforehand that I'm at risk for this rash, because that's what herpes is. It's a rash, man. So, you know, most of us have come into contact with someone who has it. Most of us have kissed someone or even had sex with someone who has it, who may have not even known that they had it, because whoever I got it from didn't know. And I know that they didn't know because I always talk to my partners. So my point of this video is partly so that I can talk about this and educate people, because the hardest part about having herpes is not the actual having herpes. I haven't had an outbreak in 3 years. I only had the one outbreak. The hardest part is the fear of judgment from it, the fear of rejection from it. Everybody makes fun of herpes. Everybody makes fun of people with STDs, and it's kind of messed up, because nobody asks to be given something like that. There are people who assume that risk. I've had several exes who were, they took on that risk. They said, you know what, Kelly, like, I understand that this is a risk I'm taking with you, but I see and appreciate that you are willing to do everything you can to try and protect me. So, also, you're really cute. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding, but it's important that we are responsible when we're out there, because I am not one to slut shame. You wanna get laid, get your needs met. Like, get your needs met. As long as you are being open and honest with the people you are sleeping with, I don't see why there would be any problem. But be smart. Be smart about it. Use protection. Get tested regularly. Ask your doctor if they'd be willing to give you a herpes test. You do have to request it. There are some doctors that won't. They won't. They just will be like, don't even waste your time. You probably have it. And if you don't have it, you are likely to get it at some point. It's to that point. The statistics I've seen is that anywhere from 60 to 80% of U.S. Americans have it. But because they don't test for it and because people don't get tested, it's hard to say exactly how many people have it. But my generation's a bunch of sluts, so you probably do. But yeah. So this is a way longer video than I meant to make. So if you stuck through all of it, thanks. If you've been watching the videos, thanks. This has been good for me in a lot of ways, and I've had some people come up to me and tell me that they enjoyed the videos, or the videos have even helped them, which is super, super dope, because like, I love helping people. And if like my mistakes could save someone else from making the same mistakes, then good. Like, we don't all have to mess up in the same way. We can learn from each other. But I hope you guys have a great week, and I'm gonna get back to loving on this kitten. Maybe get some yoga in, because I need it. See ya.